Hey guys, welcome to a new movie review. Today I'm going to be telling you about the new independent comedy by Jon Favreau, who's done the first two Iron Man films as well as Elf with Will Ferrell. His new film is called Chef, and it's about a four-star restaurant chef, pretty much, who um, has been working this job for several years. He basically gets a lot of kitchen rules, a lot of kitchen space to make these really big, exotic, crazy, and unique meals for the customers at this restaurant. And there comes a point where the manager who runs this restaurant is kind of getting sick of this thing with the chef, where the chef will make the things on the menu. Obviously, any customer that requests anything on the menu, he'll make. But the thing is that makes him special. It makes people always coming back as well. And what kind of starts a frustration between both the manager and the chef is that people really like these special entrees that he creates for the restaurant. And because they're weekly or they're daily specials, they're always curious to see what the chef cooks up in the kitchen, and they always want to see kind of things that aren't on the menu that are from the chef that are unique, and people are going to know that they're from him and things like that. And so there comes a point where the manager just doesn't want to take it anymore. And so he basically forces the chef to either cook the things that are on the menu or else he'll fire him. And obviously, what happens is really isn't a spoiler because it's shown in the trailer, so it's really not a spoiler. But basically, the chef does get fired, and there's a series of events that obviously we'll see in the movie that really, really make him fired pretty much. But basically, the ex-wife, I should say, because they're divorced. She's played by Sofia Vergara, and Jon Favreau played the chef, by the way. Um, she always tried to convince him to start up this food truck that another one of her ex-husbands has kind of uh, he can help people he can help people get their business started and things like that. Robert Downey Jr. plays that part. He plays the guy where if you want to start your own business, if he has the right equipment, the right office space, and things like that, he can make it possible for you. So basically, he has this food truck for Robert Downey Jr. provides this truck for Jon Favreau. So basically, he goes on this national tour with this truck, making like Cuban sandwiches and things that really mean a lot to Jon Favreau as a chef. He really thinks people could really enjoy and things like that. So not only does this opportunity of this food truck allow Jon Favreau's character to find more in himself, he also views it as an opportunity to be closer to his family because the son and the ex-wife and a friend of his from the restaurant all want to get involved with the food truck, and so it's really kind of a way of him finding himself again. So that's another really unique part of this movie. So, Chef, you guys, it's a really interesting movie, and I'm kind of shocked that it only got a limited release because even though it is the summertime, this is a very well done movie, and it's I'm still kind of in disbelief and shock that this film has only a limited release because I think if it was offered to a wide audience, I think it would get much more tickets. I think it would get much more revenue, from the box office and things like that. But who knows? I'm not the person responsible for what makes a film limited and has a wide release and things like that. But Chef, you guys, I think it's for the positives and negatives, it's a very interesting culinary art story. It definitely will. If you're not big into that kind of stuff, if you're not big into food and professional food and food made at like fancy restaurants, I think this film will almost kind of get you more interested in that kind of stuff. It really they really did make some really tasty looking meals in this movie. I really wanted to be in that room, tasting these foods with these people and things like that because it really looked really, really good food in this movie. And the way they shot it and things like that made it look really, really good. So if you're not interested in culinary art stories, I really think this film will do it for you. And if you're already interested in that kind of stuff, this film will be a blast because it very much is about high quality food, making unique meals, and making it almost kind of shows you the process that these chefs have to go through to make such meals for these restaurants and for the food trucks in this case. Universally, there's some really great performances in this film. We had Robert Downey Jr., we had Sofia Vergara, we had Dustin Hoffman, Jon Favreau in this. We had John Leguizamo, who was a very good comedic supporting character like he normally is in things. Gets to play that part again. He plays it very, very well in this movie. So performance wise, I had no complaints. And even the kid that played Jon Favreau's son in this was also very good. So I'm hoping to see him in more things in the future because he really, really nailed the part in this movie. So really great performances all around. I was very impressed with all of them. Everybody did a great performance in this. There's some really good feel good moments in this. It definitely was, you could tell from these characters that they really wanted this chef to be happy again. And, when he found the happiness, you can definitely feel that within him, feel that around the people, around him and the people who are buying food from him and things like that. So just a ton of great feel good moments in this movie. Um, I also think the film has a good grasp on how the food service is, the do's and the don'ts of the business. The film just really knows what food service is, what it's all about, what four-star restaurant service is, what food truck businesses are, and things like that. So it just has a really good grasp on all those things. I really like that about the movie. The film also has a really good grasp on social networking, kind of shows the consequences of it, the benefits of it, the marketing aspect behind it, and it definitely emphasizes the consequences of it. And you'll see that throughout the course of the film. So, really good grasp on social networking as well. So, it kind of covers two really big things about our society in this. And once again, Jon Favreau really covers those things really well in this movie. And there's some really good food shots in this. Like I think I briefly talked about that earlier. When they're making the food, they really get have some really nice close-in shots of the butter sizzling, or if it's a meat product, it shows the pink inside the meat really well. Or the if they're coating it in breading of some kind, it really shows that off really well. So just some really great like food making shots in this film that'll really make you hungry afterward in a way. Because I was sure hungry after seeing the movie. For the negatives of this film, some might disagree with me on this, and I won't obviously get into too much detail because it would be a spoiler. But in spoiler-free detail, I guess what I can say about it is, I think the film does suffer from an overly cheesy Hollywood ending, and you'll see that when you see the film, you'll know what I mean. But I thought the ending of the film was really, really cheesy. The film had such a great realistic take on things for the longest time, and then it all kind of went to crap after by the end of the at the end of the film because it was a really cheesy ending. There was actually some characters that kind of turned around completely, from what they were earlier in the movie, and I don't know. I just thought the ending of the film was really, really cheesy. I didn't really care for it. I thought the film could have wrapped up in a better way than it did. So ending wise, I wasn't too happy with the movie. And it was very sudden too. It's a very sudden kind of ending. I left the theater really wishing that they had a different kind of ending for the movie, much more realistic ending at that. Some of the pre-truck scenes, the scenes before Jon Favreau gets this truck and things like that, the food truck, some of them get off topic really, really badly. Yeah, there's just some scenes where they go on longer than they need to. They really have no relevance to the plot at all. And yeah, there's just some scenes in here that really don't belong in the movie, I don't think. So some scenes got off topic and it kind of bothered me after a while. So, and I also wish the film had a bigger sense of humor. There were some very humorous scenes in here, don't get me wrong. Some of the jokes did work, but there was a lot of jokes that really didn't work. And though I'm sure Chef was kind of meant to be more of a comedic drama, a drama that has comedic elements in it, I still think the script would have benefited with some bigger and better jokes. Because what we got here, I thought, was really kind of flat for some of the stuff. But at the same time, though, I think people are really going to go to this film to see, like I said, the good grasp on social networking and the good grasp on food service and things like that. So go to the film wanting those kind of things. If you go to this film thinking you're going to expect like a really raunchy kind of comedy or just a really funny classic kind of comedy, Chef unfortunately is not that kind of film. There are some great comedic moments. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying I think the film would have benefited from a bigger and more engaging and more mainstream maybe kind of humor. Just my opinion though. Um, yeah, overall, I give Chef an 8.5 out of 10. I do think it's a very good film. It has a great grasp on the topics that it does cover. Though it does get a little off topic, and though the ending of the film is a little bit cheesier than I would have liked, and the sense of humor, I think, of the film could have been improved upon. I still think it's a great time if you're interested in seeing a food service or a culinary arts kind of film. Chef is very much that kind of film you'll want to see. If you're interested in seeing, a directorial effort from Jon Favreau that isn't as big as Iron Man or isn't as big as Elf, it's a much more lower budget, more indie kind of feeling kind of film. I think Chef once again will really do it for you. So, Chef, 8.5 out of 10 for me. Very good film. It's not a perfect film, but I think it's a very, very well done movie. And for those who see it, I think are really going to enjoy it. So, Chef, 8.5 out of 10 for me. I do recommend it.